Right, boys and girls, this is a lesson from the School of Hard Knocks. If you remember, I bought a new set of pistons and rings for this engine rebuild, marl pistons and rings, and I was buying them from memory because I had the engine reground quite a while ago, as you know. And these are the pistons that we gapped all the rings and measured them up in the bores in the last video, and you'll see that I've had to put them all away in the box again. The rings are still all on them, look, and that's the piston that we used, number one, and all the other pistons are marked accordingly. These pistons was brand new. Now unfortunately we've gapped them, every one for the same bores and everything, because I was doing them on hindsight and I thought I knew everything about this engine. There was no engine number on it, as you do know, and I since found out when I assembled I just assembled number one in the bore and with the conrod, and when I found out and assembled it, it was for a different stroke engine, and the pistons was protruding about that much above the top of the block. So it shows you that even doing engines for years and years, you can make mistakes. Now I did say that I didn't check the parts when they arrived, but I've actually dug out one of the old pistons from this engine, and it's here. The engine was seized when I bought it, and therefore I had it all reground and the crank redone and everything. So this is as a consequence of not checking and rooting out the old parts, and you can see quite clearly the difference in pistons. If I line up the rings, I mean I did do it with a micrometer, but if you line up the rings you'll see quite clearly that that piston, not only is it higher and longer, it's a different stroke engine altogether, and you'll see that the difference in the size of the pistons quite considerable. So that one, I'm afraid, is going to be relegated, this set of pistons, for a later date on another engine that may or may not happen. So I've had to buy another set of pistons. They're relegated to the parts department. I bought another set of pistons for the same engine, and here is another new set of pistons, and we'll see that these pistons are an exact match for the pistons that came out of it originally, the same height, and you can see that these are marked clearly front and the plus 20 thou, and these are the standard pistons that fit in this 1098 engine. So I'm afraid we're going to have to, rather than re-gap all the rings again, which I did in the previous video, this one comes with a new set of rings. And as before, the rings, for those of you who've not seen the whole video, you can see that the rings are all clearly marked 1, 2, 3, 4, and it tells you what order to fit them in. You fit number 4 first, which is the oil scraper ring, which is the largest groove, and the other 3 rings in this particular piston are all the same size, but you work from the bottom up, so you finish with the top ring. Now I'm not going to show you how to do that again because it's all in the previous video that I made, but this is just a warning that it doesn't matter how experienced you are, you can still get caught out if you don't check your parts. And thankfully I bought this new set of county pistons. It cost me I think it was £109 with the rings, which in the grand scheme of things is not an awful lot of money, but when you're reselling the engines you've got to consider that comes with the gudgeon pins. So I won't show you how to gap the rings again or fit them on the rings, but what I will do, I'll get it all assembled and then I'll show you how to put the pistons in the bores. So again, just to reiterate, when you order parts for an engine, I mean this engine was probably rebored about 10 years ago and it's just been lost in the passage of time. and therefore when I did finally dig out an old piston for it, which I should have done initially in the first place, it would have given me an idea of what I was going to buy. But don't throw anything away. That's another good point to make. Only throw things away when you know that you're never going to need to use them again, or they're broken. But it's always good to have a guide. I've also bought some new Conrod top caps, new locking tabs. I did have the old ones, but I did get a query from somebody. You can use them again, but it was part of a package and I couldn't really turn it down. It cost me £7 for the new lock tabs and the crankshaft tabs as well. But I would have used those again, but I wanted to, just for the benefit of the video, show you that you can buy new ones and fit them if you wish. If you're doing a one-off engine, then fine. If you're trying to keep costs down, you could use them again. It's entirely up to you. It's your choice. If you think they're going to break off, then don't use them. If you think they're going to be okay, then use them. It's entirely up to you. They'll do as a spare for maybe if I get one engine that needs just one little thing doing on it. I can use it. So as I say, don't throw anything away until you know you're never going to use it again. And the big lesson today for all you builders is, the amateur builders, don't throw your parts away until you've checked with your new parts that they're exactly the same. And I have measured these. I've measured the pin distance to the crown and to the skirt, and these are an exact match, with the exception that they're a plus 20 for the rebar. So that's something I've learned. It's cost me an extra £100 because I needn't have bought this set of pistons. I just thought it was listed on eBay, this set actually, and this one was actually another £100 that I've wasted because I didn't check. I just saw the pistons complete with rings, £100. I thought that's a bargain. As it turned out in this instance, it's not a bargain, but maybe I'll use them again. Maybe I won't. They are plus 20, but I've got to find the engine that fits with it. I've got another 5 engines. Maybe they'll be good, maybe they won't. So that's the lesson for today, to basically just check your parts. So this is not a guide on how to rebuild anything. It's just a lesson from the school of hard knocks that it always pays to check, and I should have actually followed my own advice, but I didn't, and I've actually paid the price for it. So I hope you've learnt something on this little video. As I say, it's not a guide on how to do anything, but it does pay you to check and double check, and that's what we've got to do next time. So thanks for watching, and if you like the channel, you can subscribe to it. And thanks to all the new subscribers, and I hope you're finding these videos interesting, and you're continuing to watch them. Thanks very much again. Bye.